This is I Buddy Landell, and you're about to listen to Booking the Territory, the unprofessional wrestling podcast, so stop working yourself into a shoot, you numbnuts. This show is strictly for entertainment purposes only. Don't be a dumb ass and get offended by anything on this show. And if you do get offended, that's a you problem. Before I throw it to the fellas for another banger of an episode, shout out to all the BTT patrons, including the largest Patreon contributors of the show: Disrespectfully Classy, Mark E. Blassie, Mike Childry, Joe Ice, Good Old Justin, and Mike H. Now enjoy this Outlaw Mud Show podcast. Remember, if it don't snow, it don't go. And be blessed and be a blessing, pal.
Hi, everybody. This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend, and you're listening to the Book in the Territory Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast.
This is the artist formerly known as Daryl Van Horn, James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, and I'm here to let you know I would rather slam my cock in a car door than to miss the dulcet tones of Hard Body Harper, my illegitimate son, on Booking the Territory podcast.
Woo, Messi, this is professional wrestler Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man. Tell my people, my brothers and sisters, don't you dare miss Booking the Territory. Oh, yeah.
This is a one-man gang. You're listening to Booking the Territory Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the unprofessional wrestling podcast, where tonight we are covering WCW Saturday Night on TBS from November the 6th of 1993. If you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on the video, that little thumbs up thing at the bottom, and make sure you type a comment or two what you like, you don't like about the episode. It definitely helps the channel grow. No hard feelings here. If you don't like something, well, that's just your opinion, just like we give ours. I'm sitting here with Doc and Not Hard Body Harper. We explained that last week. Doc, let me welcome you in. How are you on this glorious afternoon?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's great to be here. It's awesome. Blessed and blessings. Miss Harper. That's really all I got.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like the show is done and we can go about our rest of our evenings.
Well, I don't think that would be enough content for anybody listening. So we probably ought to do some other stuff, right?
I would think so. Probably record the November 6th, 1993 episode of Saturday Night would probably be helpful.
Okay, well, we could do that. So the other thing, is we put y'all on notice last week that we were going to have ourselves quite a big announcement this week. And I guess it's time that we make some announcements, right?
Correct. It sounded like you were going to handle that when we spoke.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I can break it down for people. So we're in the show, we're in November, but in real life, we're starting into summertime. And summertime means what? Summertime means we're getting ready for the NFL season down the road. And I've been reflecting on things. I really don't like the way Half Pint talked to me in last year's NFL preview show. So I have decided that I am not going to participate in this year's NFL preview show unless I get a heartfelt apology from the little fella Half Pint.
This is not what we talked about when you referred to a big announcement last week when Harper was here. So I don't know what bullshit you're talking about here.
I think he owes me an apology.
Why does Half Pint owe you an apology?
How did he start the call last year?
Well, he's Half Pint. Leave the little redneck smurf alone.
But what did he say?
F you, Doc.
First words out of his mouth. A normal human says, hello.
Right.
What does he say?
Because you've never been rude in your life. I'm sorry.
Why are you standing up for him?
You need somebody to stand up for him. Look how tall he is.
Oh boy, you're not really standing up. No, he does owe me an apology, and I'll make sure that I get that. That's not the big announcement. Here comes the big announcement. So we have been talking for a long time about how to handle the fact that when Eazy-E gets here, the content just goes up exponentially. And we're there. We're at a point where with the clashes every once in a while, and now just an onslaught of pay-per-views that we're forced to we had to talk this through and make some decisions. And one of the decisions is to continue doing stuff like this where we get a show ahead, but you don't get Harper. And I don't think anybody likes that. I mean, we talk about it and we're like, man, we do it because we have to. But the show's better when you have the unpredictability of the man-child himself, Hard Buddy Harper. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because I got a story to tell at the beginning of this episode once we're done with the announcement related to him and the new computer. C is for Chromebook, but there's more there. But yes, you were told the show is 10 times better when Harper's here. You never know what you're going to get. You might get somebody getting tased. You just never know. It's
right.
It's a whirlwind.
And Uncle Eric is determined to put more content into the platforms, which is creating a stress on us. Because, I don't know if y'all people have been following along, but Mike and I lead just incredibly, incredibly busy lives. It's both of us would like to retire to a hammock somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. It's rough. Look, let's just be real. You're gone 6-7 days a week with youth soccer, the logistics of that, and then you getting the shows watched. I'm not gone as much, but I'm gone enough. And then
you have to edit though.
Well, it's not just that. You got you watch it, you take notes, then you record it, and then you got to eventually upload it. It's not the easiest thing when you're a common man still working a shoot job, Yeah,
but we're not asking for sympathy.
No,
we're just asking you to
support
the plan that we're about to lay out. So here's what we're going to do. If you are a patron of the show, very little will change for you. If you are not a patron of the show, a little will change, but we don't think a lot. And so what we've decided is to try to make a change that doesn't upset too much of what we're doing, but allows us to bring the highest quality content with the right people in the booth and the time in order to edit and make the show great. So we are now going to stop on the patron feed. If there is a pay-per-view, the pay-per-view will be the show for that week. So if you're not a patron, there will be weeks that BTT does not provide a show.
Not a free show.
A free show than it has been in the past. If you are a patron, those weeks there was usually a free show of a Saturday night episode and a pay-per-view or clash. We're now just going to put out the pay-per-view or the clash. So, you're still getting to hear all of us do this, but it's one instead of two.
So most weeks when there's a pay-per-view and a clash, not even most, all weeks when there's a pay-per-view and clash, the free show drops on Thursday. The clash that would have aired or pay-per-view, it would drop on Friday on the Patreon feed. Now what will happen is free show drops on Thursday. That pay-per-view and clash that would come after the free show is going to drop on the next Thursday, a week from that last Saturday night. So that Thursday wouldn't be a free show. But if you're a patron, you'll get the pay-per-view on that Thursday night or clash on that next Thursday night.
And so this solves the problem that most of the time when shows just like this, I know Mike gets complaints. You don't need to do it with Harper. Well, this is We agree.
Yeah, there's no disagreement there.
And so this is our effort to do that. I'm gonna also say something here, and I'm not trying to be a dick to anybody, but we have given this so much thought, consideration, and gone over every possible scenario we could think of to see what's the best way to do this. So if you're sitting there listening right now and you're a little bit angry about what this for whatever reason, nothing you say is going to change our mind.
Nothing? What if there's like $1 million backer out there and they're like, you know what, I'm going to upfront $1 million so that y'all keep the free show every single week?
Nothing is going to change our mind.
$1 million?
Prove me wrong.
Okay. That would be like $333,000 each.
We need our Joe Pedicino Nigerian money man is what we need.
Oh, we need Oleani.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
This is the best way we think we could think of to keep the show in its best format, to keep ourselves sane, and to keep the show rolling as we get into it. And let me just say this: this show was supposed to be our 10th anniversary. Now, first of all, how many podcasts ever see that number? Congratulations to us, of course. But we're going to celebrate it next week with Harper because we want to, parties are more fun when you got the hard body in tow. This is the best way we know to navigate what's happening next in WCW and keep the show going for another 10. I'll tell you, if we get there and it doesn't work and we're not liking it, we'll make some sort of change and make it better.
The one thing you did not mention in this is so this is not going to begin until after the November 20th Saturday night show. So right now we're making this announcement, but as we're making this announcement, you're going to get a clash if you're a patron on the Friday after this show, because there is the next clash 25 is November the 10th, and we're recording the November 6th episode. So you're going to get a clash on Patreon the day after you get this one on the free feed. So this, where we insert a pay-per-view or clash the next week and there's no free show, it does not start until after the November 20th Saturday night episode.
And no matter what Harper says online, this has nothing to do with tariffs.
Jesus. He's really caught up on that. He's just, I get off the phone with him and he's like, you think I riled people up with that one? That's the mindset of Harper, just so you know, whenever he gets political. He doesn't give a shit if you're red or blue. His whole purpose on this show is to troll you. And some people fall for the bait.
Yeah.
And they angrily message me. I'm like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Okay?
Nothing. So we hope that, once again, we appreciate more than anybody knows everybody's support. And we plan to continue this for a long time. Thank you for your understanding in advance. We're going to keep the show the way it is in terms of content. Mainly because we can't produce Harper in any other way. This is what we've got. And we're going to keep rolling along. Now, I think it's important right now, since we are making a change, and this is, patrons are going to still be the favored nation here. Do you want to tell the people how they can become a patron if they're not? And this news has, got them ready to say, okay, now I've been putting it off, so now I need to become a patron. Mike, how can they become a patron?
It's very, very easy. Go to tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. That is tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. That link is at the very top of the show description as well. You will get every single WCW pay-per-view that we've done, dating back from where we are in 93, going back to 1985, with the exception of Starrcade, because that's always on the free feed. We made that decision years ago. So you still get that pay-per-view for free. Every single Clash we've done, which we are about to hit Clash 25, literally 25 of them, crazy as that sounds, all of those are available on Patreon as well. The JV Goon Squad show, so if you like the way Doc messes with Half Pint, you got to hear that little son of a gun doing that show with Sparks.
We might need to suspend him for a week or two from that show just for the way he treated me last year.
That's kind of hard to do because they're not like a weekly show when they do the Legacy cast, the NWA cast. It's a more when they feel like it, but you know.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That, and you wonder why you're the JV squad when we feel like it. Jesus Christ.
But he will bug me about that NFL show every year, man. He will be in my emails. Let's see. We're into May right now. Oh yeah. I give him another week. He is going to be harassing me. I can already see. You know, we got let me finish with the Patreon plug, and then we'll talk about Wildkat X-Rated coming up as well. But tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT, the JV Goon Squad shows, the clashes, the pay-per-views for WCW. Lance and I's world-class cast is there. I mean, we've done all the way through from 82 to 88, and we're now revisiting in a different way some of the 83 shows once the Freebirds and Von Erichs feud pops off. Patreon, tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. I don't really talk about another thing often with this. You get the video versions as well of the shows that we do. So, you know, where you can actually see when Harper is talking about some guy and what kind of car he drives, you actually get to see what this guy looks like and all that good stuff. Or when Doc or Harper like to make fun of people in the crowd, you get to see who they're making fun of and what they exactly look like. So again, tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. Best way to support the show. And like Doc said, this show has been going for 10 freaking years at this point. I don't even know how many hours that is. You at one point had calculated at the 9-year mark of how many hours we would have done estimated. And even that is just an estimate because it doesn't take into account all the Patreon shows and all that stuff. But you did just the free shows. You did the Smoky Mountain and WCW shows, and you had calculated it out last year, and it was ridiculous. There's not many podcasts that make it 10 years. So I ain't trying to toot our own horn, but toot toot. There's podcasts that start and they got all the intentions of the world and they wrap up less than a year. They can't even make it 6 months. Well, not only have we made it 6 months, but we made it 10 years. And that's a lot considering how much stuff in our lives have changed within those 10 years. Doc had one kid. He's now got two. He had one that was very young. I had two very, very young ones. Now I have one that is 20 and one that's 17. We've come a long way. Lives have changed. We've had a lot go on. We've made it through deaths, multiple deaths that we haven't even talked about on the show because we weren't looking for the violin to play.
Yeah. Just an incredible amount of change. Some things haven't changed. We have, but some things have. We watched Harper get older, turn into a cranky old man.
He was always cranky, but he really got cranky in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
3-4 years. He's reached a point of just old man cranky Harper with no kids.
Because when you get to his point in age, you start to realize that this is just how the world works and it's not going to get better. When you're younger, you're like, oh, we're going to be the voice of change. There ain't no change. This is how the shit is.
The greatest line he uttered, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. So anyway,
tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. I got to mention the Wildkat X-Rated show, but go ahead. I want you to.
No, hit that. Everybody's going to want to know what's up there.
Yeah. So I neglected to mention this last week. Totally forgot. But Wildkat X-Rated is coming up Friday night, June 27th. It is the night that all the BTT listeners get together and meet up once a year. It's a lot of fun. We go to a wrestling show. I don't know what wrestling I've watched from that wrestling show, to be frank, but it is happening Friday night, June 27th. A lot of people are flying in town that I've confirmed at this point in terms of our listeners. It's going to be a great night. We always have a lot of fun. We then go to the bar after. If you haven't seen the announcement on Wildkat Sports' Facebook page, the Queen of Extreme, Francine, will be there. It is going to be at Southport Hall, which is on Monticello Avenue, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70122. Friday night, June 27th, 7 p.m. Tickets are available. You can go to wks.eventbrite, and that's Eventbrite, eventbrite.com. So wks.eventbrite.com. I will post the link in the show description. That way you can get your tickets. Tickets are very limited. It sells out every year. So I would say as soon as you hear this, jump on it. And if you get tired, I'll take over. But Francine will be there. Wildkat X-Rated. I think this is the 9th edition of Wildkat X-Rated. And they missed the year with COVID. So they've basically been doing this just about as long as we've been doing the show. We started going about 5 years ago. And this will be the 5th or 6th Wildkat X-Rated we've done. One of them wasn't an X-Rated because they didn't have an X-Rated that year. But anyway, wks.eventbrite.com. WKS stands for Wildkat Sports, obviously. Friday, June 27th, 7 p.m., New Orleans, Louisiana. Go to their Facebook page and you can get further details about the event at Southport Hall. It's a bar, a small one. That's why tickets are so limited. But we hope to see you there. I will be there. Harper will be there. Doc will not be there. And a host of other BTT listeners. It's always a fun night. Last year, Doc showed up. Half Pint showed up. Doc showed up, but he was really Adam Price in a mask. And Adam brought Half Pint a step stool so Half Pint wouldn't look at the back of everyone's asses while he was trying to watch the wrestling. Because it's pretty much standing room only.
That's not classy.
Well, it is what it is. Anyway. So I wanted to mention that before we move on further in the show.
Okay.
The yearly event, don't miss it.
Well, speaking of moving on in the show, we've been talking about ourselves, but, we're really here to talk about wrestling.
Okay.
And do you think we could maybe squeeze that in at some point?
Yes. Harper's not here. I wanted to mention one thing related to him.
Oh, okay.
So, if you recall, he stumbled into a Best Buy and bought him some technology in terms of a laptop. C is for Chromebook, remember?
Of course.
All right. So for people who don't know how it works, I told Harper a week or two before, I was like, hold off. Let's get you a new laptop. I know that one you shouldn't have bought, but you bought it, even though I paid for it. I told him to wait. I was going to get the laptop. Like I was going to go do the research to get him what he needed. He stumbles into Best Buy. He buys the laptop. He doesn't even realize it's a Chromebook. He has trouble connecting his printer, blah, blah, blah. All that happened. What you don't know, because he told that on the show, is behind the scenes, he bought it without me sending him the money first. So when he buys it, I go, look, I'm gonna send you the money. This was like a Monday or Tuesday. I send him the money on PayPal. Harper, I sent you the money. Please confirm ASAP that you got it. Now, this computer ain't a $1,500 computer, but it's also not $50. You catch my drift, Doc? We're talking about a couple $100 that are in transit here.
I'm tracking.
Tuesday goes by, Wednesday goes by, Thursday goes by. No word from Harper about if he got the money. Harper. So I follow up on Monday. Harper, it's been a week. Can you check to make sure you got the money I sent you? Radio silence. He finally calls me on Tuesday about 2 hours before we were going to record the last episode. Harper, he's like, brah. I'm on PayPal right now, and I can see it, but it won't let me accept it. I said, you can see what? The money you sent me. He gets mad because he doesn't tell me specifically. what he's talking about. I don't know if he's talking about the money I sent them, somebody sending him $25 to do a video. I don't know, man. Anyway, we figure out, I was like, well, what's the date on it? I was like, yes, that's obviously. And I said, what's the amount? He tells me. I said, okay, yes, that's what I sent you. It won't let me accept it. What am I supposed to do? Well, that's your PayPal. I don't know. Maybe contact PayPal. There used to be an accept button. It won't let me accept it. This is stupid. This is dumb. I'm like, Harper, I don't know what to tell you, man. I said, I only use PayPal very infrequently. Like, I have an account, but it's not like I send money on it all the time. If I got to send money, you and I talked about this with the Zelle, you know, with my daughter's team, we send money that way. It's a lot easier, whatever. So he's fussing and getting pissy with me about not being able to accept the money. Then this son of a gun starts reading off. Did you send me $100? I was like, no. When? I don't know. What's the date next to it? Let's see. There's a long pause. Harper, you still there? Yeah, I'm looking. Okay. So what is it? I can't tell. I log into my PayPal. I said, Harper, that was from 3 years ago on Christmas Day. Oh. Well, it also says Tim Maselli sent me $25. What's the date, Harper? I don't know. I go in there. I'm like, look, click this. Oh, that says that was from 2021. Okay. Harper.
He's got everybody across America's checkbook out of balance.
Right. Then there's another one. He's like, I think somebody sent me video money. I said, Harper, this is a problem, okay? They're sending you the money.
And oh, by the way, the only problem he's perceiving right now is that he's put out because he doesn't understand what's going on. That's the only problem he thinks.
Right.
Mike is seeing other problems that are now emerging.
Yeah, because now, see, here's what happens. Now I'm going to get an email from somebody who sent Harper $25 a month or two ago, right? Hey, Harper never sent me my video. I can't manage his PayPal. That was the whole reason we did the PayPal with his, where they could send it to him. And he's then telling people on air, I don't know if you remember, he's screaming, no, send the email to Mike. I said, Harper, they can email me all day long. I can't see if they paid you. It's not my PayPal. Now, if you want me to give him my PayPal, no, just give him mine. I'll look it up. He's not looking. He ain't logging into it.
That was the last time he thought about that.
So I love him to death, but I'm like, dude, you got to check that to see what's being sent.
It's got to be Lady Harper. She's got to take over take over his affairs.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Now, it ended up being that this additional $25 was one he had already cared for like a year ago. But since he's not fluent in looking up the date, even though I just showed him, he's thinking, who sent this? Why did they send it? I'm like, then I tell Doc, I'm like, you realize Harper's very smart. But when it comes to technology, he's like just as bad as like a Jim Cornette or any of these old guys online who have no clue what they're doing. Bro,
yeah.
Just, I love him.
I mean,
but I'm
last
like, dude.
Last week was the first true Teams call, and he was. I mean, you and I are on these things all day long. This is his first Teams call where he could I don't know,
raise his hand, clap, send a smiley face, and he's doing it the whole show. Fucking dude. Man, I think it was Chris Sapita one time, very long time listener, been since the beginning. There you go, Chris. Go crank off to that. I said your name. I know that'll make you happy.
Whoa.
One time there was a time when I was trying to walk Harper through something on his computer, and we were doing it in the middle of the show. And he was like, dude, I'd pay good money to hear to hear Help Desk Harper, a weekly segment of Help Desk Harper. And I'm like, dude, there's no amount of money in my life that you could convince me to want to put myself through that pain 52 weeks a year.
We have how many times over the course of the years have we started a show with him doing some sort of technology rant that we're like, damn, we should have been recording that.
Very often.
We should. Yeah. He starts the show from the minute and then starts the show. We haven't hit record or anything.
Yeah. He will try to. So like generally Doc's on first, and then these are times when he doesn't join, in the opening. So he'll be ready and we'll call him and we're like, hey, what's up, man? And he just starts with a story and Doc's like, stop, hit the red light. Let's get this on air, because he's about to just go into some rant, and you don't know if you're going to get a 60-second rant that's nothing, or you don't know if you're going to end up with the Bigfoot rant or the Coyote rant. Or one of my personal favorites that's underrated, when Robert Kraft got busted for the whole massage parlor hand job thing, that was a rant back in the day. So, yeah, man, it's fun. 10 years of that. Well, Harper joined at 6 months in, so 9 months, 9
he's still
years, 6 months.
He's still the new guy.
He's still the new guy, yeah. Anyway, all right, Doc, we can talk about some wrestling now. How does that sound?
You specifically told me, let's get on, make the announcement and get started, and here we are. This one's your fault.
So if you're just watching the video version of this, go back and listen to the entire one on whatever platform you listen to podcasts. We made a major announcement at the beginning of the show. We're not going to rehash it now, but I wanted to mention that. So we are talking November 6, 1993, Saturday night on TBS. This week's episode was taped October the 5th, 93 at Center Stage. It's the first half of the taping from that day. I point that out because that means it was taped well before Halloween Havoc 93, which we covered from October the 24th. So we're definitely, lagging behind in the taping, but even that is not as delayed as these worldwide tapings that are happening at Disney and whatnot. The show opens. We get a replay of the Hollywood Blondes breakup and Sid chokeslamming Colonel Parker after they broke up. We then do head to the ring. I should also say we are teased that we're going to get a special announcement, or there's a surprise, not special announcement, for Jesse Ventura on this week's episode. So we got that to look forward to this week. Doc, anything from the opening before I get into Harlem Heat versus Arn Anderson and Paul Roma?
I don't think so.
There is a sign at the beginning of the Harlem Heat match where some slapdick in the episode has a sign that says, "Get real, Harlem Heat. The only strong thing about you is bad B.O."
Boy, and they got those stencils from the grocery store because those look like those letters. And they thought they were being clever putting that on an 8x11 piece of paper.
Yeah. And I hate when people would do that and they would use yellow, because you could never really see yellow really good on a white background. But yeah, they got those stencils from the drugstore back in the day. That was part of a craft project for school, and somebody used it for that sign. But anyway, during the match, we are told that Austin and Pillman will wrestle at the Clash. I already mentioned the sign. Tony promises a reunion for Jesse shortly. Jesse has no clue what that means. We'll talk about that in a second. And they talk about the Assassin and Orndorff on commentary. Jesse even says the Svelte Assassin.
I got that.
Yeah, I don't have the timestamp, but he calls the Assassin Svelte. He don't give a shit. He's insulting that poor man over and over on commentary weekly, multiple times, every single week. So yeah, I had that. All right, Doc, I'll throw to you. I regurgitated enough about that, some of the stuff they talk about in that match, but what you got?
239.
All right, so we're almost there. We're at 225. I'm just going to let it play. You want to tell us what we're looking for, or do we need audio?
Sir, we'd be very, very quiet. We're on the Rat Patrol.
Oh. Okay, so we got some plants out there then.
And there's three there, so there's one for each of us. We got a sister on the right for you.
I think she might be Latina.
I don't know. Which one are you taking then?
No,
Harper's
that's
not
the
here.
sister. That's the sister.
Yeah, Harper's not here, so he gets whoever's left over.
Well, you're a redhead kind of guy, so you get the one on the left. Harper definitely would want
No. I'm taking those two white girls are sisters, by the way.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean sisters, not sisters. Sorry.
Right, yeah, I got you. Harper definitely would want the one in the middle. I could tell you that right now.
No, that's mine.
Y'all are both ruling out the one on the right because y'all have problems with women of color.
Who's getting the Rolex this week?
Harlem Heat.
Well, so do you have the same problem with color.
Okay. All right. We had the Rat Patrol there. Anything else? Since you love pointing out people.
247. That guy's missing teeth.
Yeah, he's the whole left side of his mouth is
empty.
The top side of his mouth is he needs to see a dentist, man. All right.
Yeah.
Enough about the fans. Anything from the match?
Jesus. This is a big match because Harlem Heat's come in and established themselves. Roma and Arn are them. Good starting match. They come out. They have a good start. They get it going hot to begin before they get into the arm bars. Here's my question: who are you rooting for here, Mike? Horsemen or Harlem Heat?
Harlem Heat.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that's the question. I tell you what, they look great here because they use teamwork. Harlem Heat, that is, and I know we've seen them in like main events on Saturday night and stuff, but it felt like the first time we've seen, because I think they did a 6-man, a couple of 6-mans, but it felt like one of the first times we've seen both of them in like a lengthy competitive match like this. Because I don't consider whatever that was at Halloween Havoc where they did that 6-man. But Booker is very smooth for somebody who hasn't been wrestling for a ton of years. They are really good, man. Now I realize why I liked them so much back then. I didn't know what the reason was the first time I saw them in the early 90s. They were just good. They were solid in the ring, both of them. Booker's obviously better than Stevie. They wrestled a competitive match here against two veterans, especially Arn. I thought they looked good. They showed off their tag skills in terms of how to work a tag match. They were great. They were phenomenal. And we got the thing about it, this might have been their longest match yet, at least on Saturday night, I think. Just with the two of them.
Well, we also get the message, and I can't remember if you mentioned it or not, that at the Clash, we're going to get Austin versus Pillman.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, because when you got Colonel Parker telling Pillman, let me tell you about you.
Well, I would have, man, okay, I want to see it. But, man, that feels pay-per-view quality to me.
Keep in mind, as you say that, what's happening here is they filmed all of this before Halloween Havoc, so they're packaging. They basically like film shows just for the Clash at this point.
Yeah.
Nothing,
all
if
right.
you think about nothing we've seen here outside of the Sid thing with Colonel Parker has really followed up on anything at Havoc. But this was a good match. It was a good wrestling match for Saturday night that we had here.
Okay. Yeah, this is a good match. Yeah, this is yeah.
I'm gonna go to the finish unless you got something else.
Well, Roma's finally starting to show me something. So good for him.
About time.
Yeah, about time for him. I mean, come on, dude. You're a horseman. You're a 3 horseman.
Okay.
How would you feel in 1993 if New Jack showed up to be those two's managers?
That's a good question.
Like now they got a mouthpiece that ain't, let me tell you about you. It is young and angry, topical.
I guess you could still do what he did in Smokey and on a national platform. Like you couldn't get away with what he was doing back then now on television.
No.
But back in 93, you could get away with New Jack cutting those promos.
Okay.
As their manager. I'd wonder how it would fly. I'd wonder if, when I say you could get away with it, I don't know if TBS would allow it, but you could get away with it on television. Because, I mean, they got away with it in Smokey, even though that wasn't national. It would be something. Okay. The thing is, like, Booker becomes a good promo quickly. So I don't know if they really needed him, but it would have been something to see.
I get it. Well, how did the finish go for you?
Well, all four were in the ring. Roma and Booker bump with Booker falling out of the ring. Then Stevie pins Roma. But Roma had his foot on the rope, but Booker knocked Roma's foot off the rope. Pee Wee Anderson doesn't see it. And Harlem Heat then wins by pin. So it was, they basically cheated to win, which is fine. I got no problem with that.
I'm sure you wouldn't.
Wow. Okay. I don't see why you got to be so hostile towards me. I just realized something. Look at Jesse's shirt.
I saw. I was going to ask if you knew who that was.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix. Why would I not know that?
Okay, I'm just making sure. If it was Stevie Ray Vaughan, you wouldn't know. But because it's Jimi Hendrix, you're like, yeah, I got it. You really do make race a part of everything.
I know who Stevie Ray Vaughan is.
Okay.
I don't make race a part of everything. Look, man, Harper's the one who brought up Tariffs. If he doesn't bring up Tariffs, okay, hold on. Not only was he the one who brought up Tariffs in a joking way that worked a percentage of people into the shoot that I heard from.
Him bringing up Tariffs doesn't work me into a shoot. It's the tariffs themselves raising prices on my household goods that works me into a shoot. But please continue.
He says, but no, what people don't remember is he was the one who told me to piss off because diversity wasn't allowed anymore. And then he brought up tariffs. So he double worked people into a shoot. And then that's when I started saying, oh, if you want to bring up tariffs, I will bring up diversity.
We still have a little bit of diversity until Doge gets to us.
Okay, please stop. Let's not.
Are you gonna turn over the database to them when they get here?
I'm about to play this promo is what I'm about to do. Tony and Jesse introduce us to someone for the first time in WCW. Let's go to the audio of that right now.
To WCW Saturday Night on a historic night for all of us in World Championship Wrestling. I talked about the big surprise, and I know you're just bursting with curiosity.
I'm waiting, Tony Schiavone. What is the surprise? It's too early for Christmas. You got me an early present.
Well, Jesse, this is a reunion. It's a reunion for you.
What?
And it's a first in World Championship Wrestling. I'm very proud, very honored to welcome to the WCW broadcast family, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Mean Gene Okerlund.
What?
Gene, it's an honor to have you with us as a part of WCW Saturday Night, and welcome to World Championship Wrestling.
I'll tell you what, Tony Schiavone, what a pleasure for me to be part of television wrestling's #1 broadcast team. Jesse, what are you doing here?
I know it was inevitable, Mean Gene, you little social climber. You'll follow me to the ends of the earth.
All right, Tony Schiavone, we've got some exciting things happening during the course of the show. Couple of things I should mention. I'm going to be talking to Sid Vicious later in this hour. And then later on in the program, I'm going to be talking to the one and only Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Ric Flair, of course, as you know, this Wednesday at Clash of Champions, 8:05 right here on TBS, live from St. Petersburg, Florida, is going to be facing Vader for the WCW heavyweight title. I can hardly wait.
We have tremendous matches as well on this edition of WCW Saturday Night. And Jesse the Body and Mean Gene, a lot of people are talking about the split last week of the Hollywood Blondes. And, of course...
All right, they're just going to throw to a replay of the breakup of the Hollywood Blondes. But, Doc, I've been waiting for this moment. I'm going to ask you a question.
I got a question for you, and I hope it's not the same one I'm going to ask you.
It's probably the same one. So
I got a big, like philosophical question about this, but please, you go first. Age before beauty.
Speaking of age, do you know how old Mean Gene is right there?
I'd say 53.
You right now are older than Mean Gene is right there.
Jesus Christ.
Mean Gene was born December the 19th of 1942.
So he's barely 51 and I'm barely
He's
51.
not 51 yet.
I look better than he does. Would you agree with that?
You definitely don't. This is another Ron Wright moment where we were like, he was what? He looked like he was 80, and we're like, no, he's like 53.
Do I look as old? Do I look as old right now as Mean Gene looked there?
No, look at his hair. I mean, no.
I have a full head of hair, by the way.
Yeah, it's just that thing where like older people back then look older than people now. I don't know. It's
I'm young. I'm sitting crisscross applesauce in the bedroom floor so that my Ethernet cord can reach the computer these days. So picture that, everybody.
So anyway,
I got a different question.
But does that shock you, the age? I'm going to ask Harper next week when he's back.
You know what his response is? Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. What's your philosophical question? Let me tell you about you. He's telling him that right there.
Yeah, I know. It's one of the greatest moments in the show history, and it's a week old.
Right.
Stay with me here.
I'm with you. Let's go.
Mean Gene is awesome at what he does. Mean Gene is a legend. Mean Gene is Mean Gene. Mean Gene is mean by God Gene. But for a promotion that's hemorrhaging money, is this a smart move to bring him in? Because he doesn't play a big enough role for the money he's probably making to make this make sense to me. And as great as Mean Gene is, and let's be great, man, that fucking 92 Rumble post match where he tells that motherfucker to put out a cigarette in the locker room while he's interviewing Rick, he's great. But I know he was AWA, don't get me wrong, but he's associated as a voice of the WWF. We want to be different than, to use Bischoff's words. So I just want to talk about this, not like, hey man, I like having him here. I like listening to his voice. He's already hit the ground running. His first communication to us is, and I'm just happy to be here and looking to fit in. He's telling you where to go on the hotline, and he's talking to people. He's working hard from day one. What do you think about Mean Gene? Should we have brought him in?
Yes, I have no problem with it. I've no. You always talk about
Look at those two heifers.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Just like, look, there's a lot of things I agree with Bischoff, and there's a lot of things I disagree with that Bischoff will say. I think Bischoff was right about a few things in hiring people like Mean Gene and even Hogan. And we talk about that whenever Hogan gets in. Bischoff said, like, them signing Hogan helped them out in so many other ways.
Oh yeah. So there's no question.
There's a ripple effect for hiring a Mean Gene. And to me, like, I look, it pains me to say it, but we're struggling right now. We got to do something to turn the ship. Like, and it's not a talent thing, but so bringing in a guy like that who's been legitimized on the WWF stage at the time, I don't think it hurts bringing him in. I mean,
okay,
I think it's a good idea.
I'm not saying it does. I just had the thought of, like, is this the right move? And I, time. We'll certainly talk about this when we get there. Time justifies the Hogan move. It didn't at first, but even artistically, it worked because of the heel turn.
Yeah, which wasn't the funny part is that was never the original plan, bringing him in. That just is kind of something that happened, and Hogan latched his trailer to Hall and Nash and saw how hot that was getting. So, because there's an article.
Well, there's a life lesson in that somewhere, that it's important to know when to get on the bus and leave.
Yeah. He let's be real here. It worked, him turning, but also there was he saw what was getting hot, and he knew, red and yellow Hogan wasn't hot anymore, and it was time to switch things up. And yeah.
Well, let's get back to the ring here. We got shadow boxing Stone Cold Steve Austin against Scott Studd, who we also know as a future American male, Scotty Riggs. I know Scotty's had a big turnaround in his personal life, working with DDP. He was living in his car, taking care of his mom, and DDP did a lot. He was about to commit suicide, he said, and DDP did a lot of work with him. So good on DDP. Can be a lot to handle sometimes, but good for DDP for that. Good for Scotty for the big turnaround he's made, right?
Yeah, he's straightened out, and I don't even say straightened out, but got his life back on track, and DDP does a lot of that, and he should be commended for it. Doc, it just hit me. This was recorded before Halloween Havoc. Colonel Parker was not with – the whole turn hadn't happened yet. So it's interesting these people on October 5th got to see that. Like they're seeing – they saw all of this before anything happened at Halloween Havoc, which is funny because you think about it. This is just, outside of maybe it making a newsletter back then, nobody, had a means of seeing it unless
What's going on here? I don't know.
You're right.
Let's watch the wrestling.
Yep, that's it. So anyway, Parker introduced and called him the one and only Hollywood blonde, stunning Steve Austin. They talk about Mean Gene with WCW. Jesse claims I gave him that name in 1979, and Jesse says if not for him, Mean Gene would be a nobody. Go ahead, continue.
Scotty gets a lot of offense here. Austin gives him a ton. He gets a lot of near falls here.
Mm-hmm.
This thing went a while.
Austin sells his ass off for him too. That's what's funny. He's not just like, oh, let me just eat this guy up. He gives him a lot, and Austin I don't know what that was. I had that timestamp. I guess Austin was trying to sell the leg and made it look like he couldn't go from corner to corner. But yeah, Austin sold his ass off for this dude, man.
Yeah. When you get to the finisher, and I'm sure it's coming soon, I don't have any timestamps. Yeah, my point is this. Austin needs a better finisher. That stun gun, I don't think a lot of guys know how to take it well.
Yeah, it's weird because it's not a hard move to take. I don't know why guys struggle with it. He didn't take it that bad.
That looked good.
Yeah, it's not like it's a new one. It's a variation of the one Eddie did, at least the first one he would do, Eddie Gilbert. Eddie, you go to high school with him? What he does is he catches him and he turns with him into the ropes, whereas Eddie, I guess, would just kind of catch him and fall backwards into the ropes. So I don't think it's bad, but I don't mind this. I think the finisher's fine, but there are guys we've seen that it's like they have never seen it before. I don't know. It's weird. I do agree with you. I don't know if he needs a better one, but there is something to what the hell are we doing here? Any other thoughts?
No.
Yeah, Austin hits the stun gun, pins Scott Studd, and then we move on to Stunning Steve Austin, who is with Colonel Parker, and they are about to speak to us. Here it is.
This program here on TBS will go down as one of the most memorable ones in the history of WCW. And my good man, you were a big part of that, and I can see you're still very upset with the way the program ended.
I ought to have every reason to celebrate because I've been talking to Stunting Steve about he and I getting our heads together, and now we have. But I don't feel like I'm really open for celebration because of this right here. That right there is a court injunction right there. That's court papers. That's the original. That means you, Sid Vicious. I'm talking about Psycho Sid Vicious. Now I know clearly why they call him that. Will not be able to get 50 feet from Colonel Robert Parker, or you know where you're going. Now secondary, Brian Dillman. I'm talking about Flying Brian. I'm going to tell you a little story about Flying Brian. He hit me when I was off balance in the first place. Talking about Flying Brian, only thing flying about him, he can't hit no harder than a fruit fly. I'm going to tell you, Brian, you're paying, and then its own Steve Austin to the very pinnacle, the tops of the market. I'm talking about the U.S. title. We got it all working for us.
Something I'd like to add here, and I can't understand why. Now, yes, it's you and Flying Brian this Wednesday Clash of the Champions, but why, after all you two went through, would you attack him just like that?
Flying Brian was like dragging an anchor for 100 miles and then finally cutting it loose. To come out here and try to run down Flying Brian is hard because he is a good wrestler. The difference, I'm a great wrestler. Flying Brian is the toughest man I've ever met in my life. There's only one man that's tougher than Flying Brian, and it's Stunning Steve Austin. Flying Brian forgot the fact that every great team has a quarterback, and I was the quarterback of the Blondes. I was the captain. I carried Flying Brian to championship gold. And where was he when we lost those belts? He might as well have bought a ticket for all the good he did Stunning Steve. Flying Brian is going to live up to his name at the Clash of Champions because you're looking at the man who's going to launch him into orbit from every turnbuckle in the ring. And if Sid Vicious sticks his face 50 feet from the ring, I'll slap him so hard Colonel will make his head spin.
Well, there you have it, and what a clash it will be.
I cannot believe they fired this dude. Let me tell you why that promo from Austin, we can talk about Parker in a second, but that promo from Austin is perfect because it'll never get talked about as one of his great ones. He puts over Pillman. He talks about how good Pillman is, but then he goes, but I'm great.
Right. 100%.
So it puts over your opponent as being a good wrestler, a formidable professional wrestler. And then it puts you into the stratosphere because you know, yeah, he's a light bulb, whereas I'm a star. Like it's the dude, they fired this dude. It's ridiculous. Eazy-E did, that is.
Aren't we glad that they did, though, in hindsight?
Well, he's said that on interviews. He's like, it happened. I was upset at the time, but Stone Cold probably never happens. And honestly, if not for him just pushing through, because Vince, the A&E thing, Vince said, I just thought he was a Texan. Yeah, that Texas twang. I didn't see anything there. You didn't see anything there either. It took him breaking out on his own for something to happen. Remember, they didn't let him talk. He had DiBiase.
Yeah.
So anyway, we could go off on a tangent about that, but they fired this dude. It's weird. But then go
Sid's
ahead.
Gone in real life, correct?
Did it happen yet? I'd have to look. I don't think he's officially. I don't think yet. But I'd have to look at the date. Definitely not when this is taped, because this is October 5th. Remember?
Oh yeah.
So they don't go to England until October 26th. Yeah. So real time, the incident has happened with the stabbing, but I don't think he actually. I believe they suspend him first, and then he gets terminated. That he's not terminated at first.
But he better keep his hands off of our treasured Colonel Parker, because he's got an injunction, pal.
Jesus Christ.
He also forgot to offer Tony his seagull. Yeah.
Bro, he pulled out the damn paperwork, folded into in his pocket like an old man.
That shit looked like a cheap Chinese menu that he found.
It did. Like the ones you have in a drawer at your house. I know you got them.
Like the one at Training Day that Denzel used for the warrant,
bro,
at Macy Gray's house.
But Colonel's scared, man. He can't get within 50 feet of me. Good stuff.
That's smart.
Yeah,
that's smart.
I like how Austin called himself the QB of the Blondes.
Yeah.
All right, so we go to commercial, come back, and we go to the Battle Bowl Control Center with Mean Gene, because I know we are promoting the Clash, which is going to be on Patreon tomorrow at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. But we also have the Battle Bowl coming up on November 20th. So that'll be on Patreon as well in a few weeks.
Hence the announcement that we made earlier in this show.
Yes, tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. So within 10 days, we have a Clash and a pay-per-view. And within 27 days, we had Halloween Havoc, Clash, and then Battle Bowl coming up November 20th. There's a Regal promo and a Davey Boy promo during the segment. And I think even Mean Gene said Sting won last year when he was plugging Battle Bowl, but it was Muda. But who's keeping track anyway? Your thoughts on the segment, if anything?
No, I didn't have anything.
Okay. So we will continue, and we go to some more plants in the front row right there. We have some lovely ladies. Paul,
why do you always have to bring that up?
You bring it up, but okay. We have Paul Orndorff versus Tommy Angel, and there are lots of Paula chants. Look at
those. Look at the man. They get the community college. Look, there's women everywhere, and I'm not talking about just like
they're plants. We talked about this. They're plants. What do you want? But
plants,
I got something more important.
They're flowers. What are you talking about?
Okay, you know what I mean. Continue though.
Are you going to talk about those seams on that mask that are stretched to the...
Dude, we talk all the time about the assassin's face smushed into this mask.
Those laces are stretched.
As Harper says, from the front, it looks like he got stung by a bunch of bees because it's just squishing his fat face into the mask. As I say, it looks like his girlfriend ate some peanuts, then he ate some ass, and when he did so, the peanut allergy got to him.
Eat some ass.
But if you're watching on the video version with us, they are showing the back of the assassin's mask. Bruh, his head is so fat that the laces on that sunbuck are stretched as far apart as you could possibly stretch.
He's got to have somebody cranking on that thing,
tying the mask
to get it tied. He can't do it anymore. He doesn't have the leverage on the torque.
Dude, it's like you ever see a big old fat person in the grocery store? And I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm just stating a fact. You ever see a fat person in the grocery store and they got their shoes on and they got laces and their feet are so fat that they can't really lace the shoes because their feet are so swollen? Not trying to be funny, but that's the comparison. If you are a patron, you need to go to the video version right now at the 30:30 mark and look at this dude's mask.
I have a different timestamp. I'm at 46:41.
Yeah, I'm at 46:41 right now. You have another one?
You said 30:30 more.
No, the video version is only 30 minutes in of the actual show.
Okay.
You're talking about the actual November 6th episode that I'm screen sharing.
Okay.
So, but anyway, that mask is screaming to be freed, bruh. That mask is like, give me my freedom, please.
What is that voice?
I don't know. I was trying to do an English accent, but it didn't come off like that.
Sounded like you were about to claim jihad.
Maybe. Dude.
Okay. That's fair. We're a worldwide podcast. You can do jihad if you need to.
Dude, look at that mask. Okay, continue, please. Anything
49:58.
49:58. Okay, let's go to it. We're at 49:52. We need audio or what?
No.
Okay, what are we looking for here? More women.
We're back. Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, I've had enough of this. Looking at the women in the crowd. It's gotten ridiculous because they do it not. It's one of those things where they do it so often. They do it too much.
No, see, I never get tired of looking at pretty ladies. Apparently, you do.
Okay, that's because you're a pervert or something. I don't know.
What?
That's society now. That's what society would tell you. Oh, you like looking at pretty ladies? You must be a pervert. No, I'm a human being that's a male that has testosterone, and that's how my body's supposed to work. Now, I don't act upon that.
Being a pervert would be like, let's see them titties.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But society would tell you now when you
I don't listen to society.
Just say someone is attractive. Oh my God, it's just a pervert, huh? You just see it all.
I'm trying to spend most of my day not giving a crap what society thinks or wants.
But continue, please.
Oh, okay. Well, Oh, excuse me. Angel gets some offense here.
Yes. It's got a 2-hour show. That's why we're getting these people some offense in. We need to burn some time, man.
We're going to let these baby faces, these enhancement talents stretch out a bit. I say.
I like that finish, though.
Yeah.
Okay. You got anything else before I go to the finish?
No, go to the finish.
Look at Orndorff put this pile driver on, and he stands and holds him up for a long time, and then he does that spike where he jumped. Boom.
That looked good.
Yeah, it did. Look good with you knowing he didn't kill the man. That looked real good. By the way, that Batten twin is still on the floor in that Smoky Mountain High School.
He's probably just now thinking about getting up.
Yeah. If anybody who doesn't know, he spiked pile drive one of the Battens on the floor in Smoky Mountain, early Smoky Mountain, and it was just like the dude never got up. It was right. He was dead. He was just gone. But anyway. All right,
I would say if you don't know, go back and listen to shows. We're not going to here to explain everything for you.
Yeah, they're all on the Patreon, not Patreon. They're all on the free feed. Every single Smoky Mountain Wrestling episode is on the free feed. You can get it there. Thanks, Matt Wilson. He was the one who reminded me to make sure it was done. All right, let's go now to Orndorff and the Assassin. They need to cut a promo after Orndorff's match. Here it is.
U.S. title bout. It will be this Wednesday, a clash of the champions as Dustin Rhodes collides with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and of course the man to my right, the Masked Assassin, who had calmed you down as you were making your way to the ring, I might add.
That's exactly right. This goes back a long ways with myself and the Assassin, and the respect and the knowledge that he has that my brain just takes it all in. And I'm going to tell you right now, Dustin Rhodes, I'm going to tell you right now, Dustin Rhodes, I can't stand your face. You're a snotty-nosed little punk. And I can't say nothing about you. That U.S. belt you're wearing around your waist was a gift because you haven't wrestled Mr. Wonderful, by far the greatest wrestler to ever step into the WCW. I'm going to take you to stool, Dustin Rhodes. I'm going to take you over the limits. And I know this for a fact that you ain't man enough. You got a yellow streak down your back like your old man. And you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And when it's all over and done with, the Assassin will be able to sleep. And I'm going to walk out with that U.S. heavyweight belt.
This has really become a very heavy personal vendetta with you and the Rhodes family.
Let me say something. It makes my heart feel good to see a spirited young athlete like Paul Orndorff. Clash of Champions, St. Petersburg Bayfront Arena, November the 10th. This man will go into the ring against Dustin Rhodes for the United States Heavyweight Championship. Rest assured of one thing, Jelly Bean. He and I are going to do everything that we have to do to ensure the fact that he walks out of the ring the new United States Heavyweight Champion and that Dustin doesn't walk out at all. Now, one thing I want to point out to you, Dusty Rhodes, Jelly Bean. You see, what is a jelly bean? It's a little confectionery that when you squeeze them, they turn soft inside, just like the grit has left your gut. And I'm going to tell you something, Rhodes, because last week on this very same program, I told you that no member of your family was safe from my wrath until I get satisfaction from you. Not your snaggle-tooth, granny crampet-looking mammy, not your Betty Boop-looking wife, and most of all, not your Slim Jim son, Dustin. Well, you rest assured of one thing. My warning to you is that no one is safe. Now, I'm going to pose a question to all the people in the viewing audience. Dusty Rhodes has heard my challenge. He's heard my threats. What kind of a man would leave his family totally unprotected and double his own security around himself? What kind of a man? You answer the question yourself.
Boy, this clash is going to be red hot, fans. It will have.
I tell you what, man, they've built this clash up I mean, we got Dustin and Orndorff and Assassins cutting these decent promos, and we got Pillman and Austin. I mean, on paper, it's like really good. What do you think?
Yeah, here's my thing. My note on this, and it is good. Orndorff, he called Orndorff a young athlete. He was about to be 44.
Right.
So he's just a little bit younger than Mean Gene. I get the feeling, and we've talked a little bit about this in the past, that if you watch the Assassin in the 70s, you were like, man, this guy's badass. But now he's out there and his head's shoved into a mask and he's older, and it's like, I don't know if this works in 93. But it's also been, this is good.
See, I disagree. I think his promos are real good. I just think he looks ridiculous. I've said that all along. His promos, the demeanor, what he says, the meaning way towards Dusty, who might you be, jelly beans, soft and gushy. The irony is you're a big tub of goo at that point. I think his promos are great. He just looks hilarious with that mask on.
Okay.
Who might you? What did he say? He says he called his mama Snaggletooth and his wife was Betty Boop. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Any other thoughts on the Assassin right there?
No.
Dude, the Shockmaster defeats Bob Starr really quickly, and I had to pause at this moment in the video.
That doesn't look good.
The Shockmaster looks like he's giving Bob Starr missionary. That's all I'll say. Become a patron if you want to see it. tinyurl.com.
That looks like he's inserted.
/Patreon BTT.
Because the look on the ginger's face is not. He looks like he's like, you forgot to lube.
Grow up. This is why we run off people. They come for the wrestling and they hear stuff like that.
Well.
Or what did I say last week?
I like wrestling.
There was something last week. I can't even remember what it was. I said,
I don't know what you said any week, but here's what I know. If the sum total of your gimmick is that your gravity is challenging you, then your gimmick is the shits. Let's move on.
Uncle Fred is great though, man. It's just that
no, he's not.
He's not. They shouldn't have leaned into this stupidity.
This is bullshit.
No, I mean, as a wrestler, he's fine.
Is he?
Yeah, he can wrestle, dude. It's just his own brother-in-law's got him out here doing this dumb stuff, bro.
That's a rib.
Come on.
It was the Sega Slam of the week, not exactly the Spam Slam.
The Sega Slam.
Sega Slam.
That's gonna excite. That's gonna excite Chris Zoncha. He was a Sega Genesis guy. So was I.
I was not. I was a Nintendo fella.
The Sega Genesis was a great game.
Hey, when you con poor middle class parents into getting you a gaming platform, you don't question which one you get. You're just happy that you got one.
Oh yeah, no doubt. All right, Doc. Well, that happened. Uncle Fred won. The Bear Hug Slam beats Bob Starr quickly. Larry King welcomes Mean Gene. I gotta play it.
I thought maybe hit that finish was the nail gun, and he was there, but inserting the nails.
Okay, let's go now to Larry King.
I would like to welcome a new broadcaster to the Turner family. He is renowned in his field as the master of the microphone. He is a broadcasting giant among the giants. He is relentless in his pursuit of the hard-hitting story, and he asks the burning questions on the minds of all of the viewing public. Welcome Mean Gene Okerlund to the Turner family of broadcasters and World Championship Wrestling. We need you.
I am thrilled, I am excited, and I am ecstatic, and I am privileged to be associated with some fine people and a great organization here at World Championship Wrestling.
I can't wait for you to see Mean Gene and the way he acts at Battle Bowl.
You remember those Larry King garlic commercials on everything a few years ago?
Vaguely.
That motherfucker's been married like 8 times.
Larry King?
Yeah.
Dude, I look, between me and you, I'm giving up after one if that would ever happen.
Can you imagine like his just sweaty over cologne, boozy breath on some young staffer? Next thing you know, she's got his wrinkled ass, just giving her the nail gun.
No. The nail gun. Oh, come on, Harper. I fucking tuned in.
She thinks this is what she
giving women the nail gun, bro.
She thinks this gets her on the air, and all it really does, they show her like, yeah, we're gonna put you on air, and they walk her out to the back exit into the alley and push her out and close the door.
Grow up.
What? You don't think that kind of thing happens? Have you not heard about Fox News and Roger Ailes?
I've heard of it happening. I'm not denying that, but I'm just saying grow up.
I didn't know Larry King died.
Yeah. Recently, too. Not that long ago.
2021.
Yeah.
He was 87. I guess banging a bunch of bitches.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. He was married 1, 2, 3. The third one he married twice. 4, 5, 6, 7. And that motherfucker got separated from his wife at 85 years old 2 years before he died. He was like, I could probably do better than you.
I couldn't do it, bro. Like, isn't one marriage enough in life?
More than enough.
I mean, like, I'm not saying I wouldn't like date after if that ever happened, but damn.
We used to watch Big Love, which was about the Mormons, and the guy had like sister wives and stuff.
Oh God, I could never do that.
And I was like, one is plenty.
It's enough for multiple lifetimes.
Yeah.
It's not even, yeah. I couldn't do it, bro. All right. Larry King, welcome to
this fucking podcast.
What'd you say?
I said, why do you think we have this fucking podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. So Mean Gene threw to a recap right there when I hit mute of Flair versus Sid from last week, and Parker in the Sid situation and Sid being DQ'd, and Sid wasn't happy and he chokeslammed Colonel Parker, which was their official split. Mean Gene then talks about the clash, and then he's going to interview Sid. In short, Sid basically tells Colonel Parker, I don't give a rat's ass about your goddamn restraining order. Doc, did you have anything from Sid's promo other than that?
No.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I don't want to say it was quick, but yeah, he basically told Colonel Parker, go kick rocks. That damn restraining order don't mean crap to me, old man.
I got to whip your ass fast because softball season is on the way.
Yes. We then go to Dustin Rhodes versus Mike Thor. During the match, Jesse Ventura said the WCW broadcast team didn't sound like a rerun of Hee Haw. He's got to be talking about Jim Ross right there, and Tony no sells it. I'm going to go to it. I'll play the audio from it. It's about 30 seconds or so, but I was like, God, he just, bro, his relentless, like.
Well, and here's the thing. We just learned yesterday that JR is got colon cancer.
Yeah.
So we want to stop here and say, we're sending out best wishes, not T's and P's, because that's not sincere. We're hoping that JR responds to the surgery well and kicks out, and we need JR to stick around a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. As soon as I saw that, I was like, man, I just had my damn colonoscopy. It's just, I hope he kicks out.
Yeah, but unlike everybody else, you got an erection while it was happening.
Bro, I told you not to tell my business on air.
I'm sorry.
All right. Let's go to this audio now. This is what I'm talking about, what Jesse said about the Hee Haw reference. Here it is.
That's one thing now. Nobody can dispute the fact, Tony, that TBS and WCW Saturday Night has the strongest broadcast team in wrestling history.
And it's great to have Mean Gene here.
The nice thing about our broadcasting team, we don't sound like a rerun of Hee Haw.
Oh, driving the knee down.
Tony is like, I'm not even gonna address what you said. He doesn't.
You filthy bastard.
Yeah, he's like, I am not addressing the stupidity that just came out of your mouth.
It's probably a good thing that Jesse is gone before the Bell's palsy hits.
Yeah. He just, dude, you can tell he didn't give a shit.
And not always in the most positive of directions.
Right. I mean, because look, does JR sound a little country? I mean, he's from Oklahoma. Sure. I grew up watching
It's
him.
getting worse the older he gets, but whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still Jim Ross. His calls are iconic even at this point. I mean, think about all the stuff he called and before he goes to WWF. I mean, he's solid. He's fantastic.
Jesse didn't see a lick of that.
Nah, he didn't give a shit, man. He did not care. It's kind of mean the way he is to JR.
And that's coming from us. So just keep that in mind, everybody.
Yeah, because, Harper definitely can be mean to people. You too. All right. So Dustin hits the Bulldog and wins by pin. Did you have any thoughts on this one?
Lots of arm bars. No.
All right. Let's go now to Dustin's promo. He is ringside with Tony Schiavone cutting a promo. Remember, he's going to be wrestling at the Clash, so let's hear what he's got to say as he goes into his match against Orndorff.
Dustin Rhodes,
You want to talk about heart, Paul Orndorff? You want to talk about gut? What do you know about that? I have more heart and more gut deep inside of me than you will ever have. So you listen up. You want a chance at this United States heavyweight title at the Clash of Champions November 10th? Well, you got it. You ain't taking me to school, pal. I'm taking you to school. You want this bad enough? You come and get it. And I understand, Paula Orndorff, that you have that dirty old assassin in your corner. But all the talking and all the bad mouthing is over, because I present to you in my corner at the Clash of Champions the heartbeat of America, if you will, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
This Wednesday at St. Petersburg, Florida, at the Clash of the Champions.
It is very easy to talk about reality. It is very easy to talk about pain, blues, and agony. It is very easy to answer my son's plea. Daddy, will you come out of retirement? Will you walk out in the Bayfront Center in St. Petersburg, Florida at the Clash of Champions? And I said, hell yeah. I said, hell yeah. Sleep it if you want to. And let's get down with it. Who that is right, brother. Dustin Rhodes has never been a walk behind her. He's always been a new note finder. And he's a constant reminder of a dream that lives on and on. This is living in the promised land. This is being free. This is being able to do what you want to. So in the Bayfront Center, when Dustin Rhodes takes Paul Orndorff to school, if you will, Assassin, if you get close to me, I will personally kick your bitch right there in St. Petersburg, Florida. Come here. One last note. This was before you were born, you know what I mean? I used to date a girl named Paula.
Doc, Dusty Rhodes died like in our second or third week of doing this podcast.
Are you serious?
Yep. June 11th of 2015.
Well, stop making it about us. We should make that about Dusty. How great was he there?
Look, we've been on this thing about why are they doing this thing with the Assassin and Dusty, and this is stupid. But he came out there and delivered a hell of a promo going into the Clash. He was phenomenal.
That's the thing is like when you get to the point that he hasn't been out there in a while, you see how great that really is.
It means more because you haven't seen him.
And he acknowledged the whoop, there it is.
Oh, that was great. He's like, yep, whoop, there it is. I mean, they got loud with it. You heard it?
Yeah. He was tremendous there.
He said, if you get close to me, Assassin, I will kick your ass.
Your big ass.
Love how he finished it. I used to date a girl named Paula. This is so good. He was really good there. I thought Dusty was great. You know, and it ties into what's been going on with the Assassin and all that stuff. So really good stuff.
And I thought Dustin was good too. He had fire, good babyface fire.
Dustin is good.
His problem is he's standing out there next to his dad. That's hard.
It is. But that's why it was good to bring Dusty out after he cut his promo too.
Right.
I thought so. All right. So then we had an ad for the Clash that played. Remember, you can listen to it tomorrow night at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Not only that Clash, but all of the ones before it are there and all of our Patreon shows, 400 plus of them. Mean Gene welcomes us back, tells us to call the hotline if you want the scoop on why he came back to WCW.
That motherfucker's been here for less than an hour and he's already got some hotline shit. That's some dirty wrestling right there.
Capitalism, brah. We then go to the Colossal Kongs versus JD Stryker and Chris Kern. The Kongs win very, very, very quickly. I don't know what else to say. Doc, did you have any thoughts on the Kongs right there, man? I mean, it was.
I have no thoughts on them really at all.
All right. Well, they won, and that was that. And on that note, that means it's time for us to go to this week's edition of the Amateur Challenge. Let's see what these slapdicks have to say this week.
Hold on. The second kid we come to, my note was, he's working the room.
Okay, so let's pay attention to that. Here it is.
Okay.
You're the star when you make the WCW Amateur Challenge.
WCW, my 3 best reasons why you should pick me. Well, I've got heart. I've got determination. I got a wrestling hold that's never been seen. It's called the power drop with force.
Seeing the power, now you see the skill of Confederate connection. Along with my partner, V-Man, and the manager, General Lee Robinson, we're here to take over WCW. But lock up the belt. I'm ready to take him. And remember, Daryl Dynamite Robinson will be world champion.
When I come out to you, you remember that it's the last 3-fall match.
Just because he's 135, you don't think maybe he could go on the top rope and drop kick someone and flip and kick him in the head? You don't think maybe I could take a 300-pound fat boy and slam his big, fat, ugly keister in the mat? Well, you watch and see, WCW.
So WCW, I'm coming to you! So all you little sissy boys better watch your back! Because V-Man is the man!
You scare me.
None of these dudes are legal except for maybe the first one.
What does legal mean?
Like they're not 18.
Are you trying to get a date here?
No, they're just kids though.
Oh, it's just kid stuff.
Now, what were you saying about this guy, the second one?
He's trying to work the room. Is it the V-Man, D-Man he's talking about? What's going on
Bro,
here?
I don't know. The last one did the same thing. They're all doing the Vader sign.
Okay.
They're not 18 years old. They're kids.
So if their parents signed off on it, it's fine.
I guess. And it does say when you send it in, it's our, stuff. Jesus.
You think the wrestling business cared how old anybody was in 1993 for anything?
Shamefully, no.
Thank you.
I didn't
Next
say
question.
it's right. I said no.
I didn't say it was right.
No, I'm just making it clear because there's somebody out there who will hear and go, what are you trying to say? You approve of it? No. I'm just answering Doc's question. Shamefully, no.
But the other side would be, how come you don't support the youth?
Yeah.
We should just quit the show. That's the big announcement. We're done. Fuck it.
I always just wonder, like, the people who get outraged at our reaction to some of this stuff, I always like think to myself, what do you want me to do? This shit is 30 years old. Like, do you want me to, like, get my heart rate up and get outraged by the
fact? I don't deal with it. I just assume.
What is wrong with you?
I live under the premise that if you're still here after 10 years, you love every single thing that I think, do, and say, along with my partners. And so I'm going to hang up after this and go on with my day.
Okay. Coming out of the amateur challenge.
And I'm probably on the way to roll up the Ethernet cord. I'm probably going to hit the RVD pose like I do every week.
Sure. Coming out of the amateur challenge.
Do not shore me.
Okay, you got something else to say about the amateur challenge?
No, it's terrible. It's got to be a rib.
Coming out of the amateur challenge, we go to Road Warrior Hawk. He talks about Rude being scared, and it's a quick promo. He says Rude is pacing back and forth like a caged animal. I'm telling you, man, they've built up this clash pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we go to Rude versus Doc's favorite coach of all time from the Eagles, Buddy Ryan. Rude hits the Rude Awakening really, really quickly on this guy. Doesn't last long at all. Doc, did you have thoughts?
Did you know that this is being recognized as a real world title now?
Dude, I'm not. I'm done trying to keep up with it.
Jesse says that the world champion is Vader during this match, so I'm not sure what he's doing.
Well, he's the WCW world champion, but Rick Rude's the world champion. You see how confusing that gets? At least when one was named the NWA world title and one was named the WCW world title, like you had like at least the letters in front of it. Now one's the world champion and one's the WCW world champion. For this at this time period.
Somebody needs to tell these morons that they need to simplify this for the morons that are watching.
And please, like, I get it. Everyone who messages me trying to explain what was going on, I understand that. What I'm trying to say is if you're just a viewer on television, if you're just a viewer watching this on television weekly, you would be very confused as a younger person, even a teenager, on what the hell's going on with the big gold. Like, you know, the big gold is still the big gold, but the whole thing about it's not the NWA no more. It's not recognized as a world title, but they're having a match for the belt to now it's a world title. That whole thing, very inconsistent. I realize it was behind the scenes stuff that was causing that, but I'm just saying very, very inconsistent and just
And
really
you might
dumb.
know what is happening now, but you didn't then, so hush up.
Yeah, and it's not telling people to hush. It's just like...
Oh, I am. Shut your mouth.
Okay,
just shut your damn mouth.
Nobody's contacting you. They're contacting me.
Oh, then let him have it. Fuck, I don't care. Give him the business.
Let's go to this quick promo from Rick Rude addressing Hawk after he won his match when he defeated Buddy Ryan. Here it is.
Another win for the man who claims he is the world champion and he has the gold belt. Ravishing Rick Rude.
You know, Shivani, it's not only me that claims I'm the world champion. You know, and anybody who knows this sport knows that the belt I'm holding in my hands is the only world heavyweight championship belt. You're talking names like Lou Thez, Buddy Rogers, Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, and the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Shivani, you're talking to the man who beat the man. Now, the challengers are lined up around the block. We got Vader, Sid Vicious, Sting. Overnight, Shivani, my life has changed from being the hunter to becoming the hunted.
Speaking of that, this Wednesday Clash of the Champions, they call the Hawk the bird of prey, and Hawk, Road Warrior Hawk, is the hunter this time, going after you and that gold belt.
That's right, and everybody know Hawk is probably the greatest predator in our sport today. But what Hawk is about to find out at the Clash of the Champions is that the early bird doesn't always get the worm. Hawk, you'll walk down that aisle with your head held high proud like a road warrior. you'll walk home with your head held low and your tail between your legs. But don't be ashamed, because you will have been beaten by the best.
Did you catch when they silenced out when he said Big Van?
Yeah.
Okay. That was my main note from it. They silenced out because he can't say Big Van Vader. He can only say Vader.
Yeah.
Thought that was funny. All right. Any thoughts on Rude's promo? I thought it was meat and potatoes, but
meat and potatoes.
But Rude calls the belt he has the world belt. Like it's
Wouldn't you?
I would too. I mean, it's the one we were introduced to once they got rid of the NWA Globe belt, and yeah, I certainly would. All right. We go to commercial and come back, and it's main event time. It is the Nasty Boys versus Ice Train and Ron Simmons. I don't think Shivani meant it this way, but when the Nasty Boys are coming out, he calls Missy the nastiest lady in WCW.
Yeah, buddy. I think he meant it just like that.
Tony's not like that. Even in his old age, I don't think he's malicious like that. I just think Tony just said it because she's the manager of the Nasty Boys and it came off wrong. Anyway.
I like it.
Just for the record, the Ice Train and Simmons have been tagging on Worldwide lately. So
okay.
Just in case you're wondering,
don't recognize that as a real thing. So
okay,
no problem.
You act like you never watched Worldwide, but okay.
Never.
There was a time period, even when Doc was in his early 20s, where he was watching Nitro, Saturday Night, and Worldwide every single week.
I wasn't watching Worldwide. I've never watched Worldwide in my life.
Bullshit.
Like regularly.
You
I've
call
seen
yourself
episodes.
a wrestling fan and you didn't watch Worldwide?
No, I didn't.
I'm not talking about Worldwide in the 80s when we weren't getting it. I'm talking about once it started coming on cable and we could get it in our area.
No.
Bullshit.
Absolutely not.
Wrestling fan, everybody.
I did watch Saturday Night and Nitro. That's true. When I came back, yes.
Well, I like wrestling and he doesn't, if anybody ever wanted to know.
That's true. You do. And I don't. And okay.
Anyway.
What have I been doing the last 10 years? I quit.
I don't know. I like that in this match they let Ice Train show off his power against a couple of big guys because, I mean, Knobs and Sags are big men. They're taller than Ice Train, but he's just muscling them up and slamming them. And, yeah, it was really good. I thought Knobs was funny when he's flexing right there, trying to make it seem like he's a muscle man. Kind of mocking Ice Train.
He's a big fella.
Look at him. He's a doofus. Look at that. Just so stupid. Anyway, what were your thoughts on this one?
Nasty should have come out last of the champs.
Of course. You're always going to say that. I don't disagree.
Missy has long hair again.
That would make Harper angry because doesn't he like the shorter?
I don't know. These are four big bastards.
Bruh. And I'm telling you, Ice Train is slamming these dudes like I really like this because they showed off Ice Train's power. Right there, that top wrist lock. Okay. You see, you making it a race issue again.
You are.
Okay, a race issue would be I would give Ice Train the Rolex, and that's not what's happening.
You can't because you're too busy giving it to Harlem Heat.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be so racist.
What? Maybe you shouldn't be so racist.
Because I gave it to Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you and Harper aren't woke enough. The funniest part is Doc is the wokest of us all.
What are you talking about?
Oh, man. Nothing. This is a non-politics show.
Doesn't sound like it. Sounds like you're trying to put my business out on the street.
No. All right. Any thoughts on this one besides Ice Train literally just showing off how strong of a dude he is?
Man, Missy earned her manager's check this week.
So you want me to go to the finish?
Yeah.
Because it's not a long match, even though it started with like 15 minutes to go in the show. So, all right, the finish. We get a hot tag to Ron Simmons. And Ron comes in, he slams Knobs, he slams Sags, hits both of them with a couple of lariats. And Ron is just on fire in the ring. On the outside, Missy falls down, and she acts like she hurt her leg. Ice Train being the gentleman that he is, he goes to tend to Missy and help her. He's like, "Oh, Missy, you look like you're hurting. Let me help you out." And when that happens, look, she just fell down. When that happens, Ron Simmons goes over to Ice Train like, "Bro, what are you doing helping this woman up? We're in the middle of a match."
I told you that white women are a trap.
Wow. It's very racist, but okay. And as Ron is turning to Missy and Ice Train on the outside to make sure that Ice Train gets his head out of his butt, Simmons gets rolled up by one of the Nasty Boys and Schoolboy, and Knobbs grabs the tights. 1, 2, 3. Nasty Boys win. Right team won, Doc?
For now.
Okay, fair enough. I agree, by the way. I totally agree. But yeah, Nasty Boys win. They retain their belts, obviously. I mean,
I'm not a huge Nasty Boys fan, and I like Ron Simmons a lot. So my sense is, without knowing what I don't know, we might be setting something up here, but I'm not 100% sure. So that's why I said that.
Okay, well, I won't spoil it then. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So after the match, after the Nasty Boys win, we see a Battle Bowl ad. It was, if it wasn't the same one, it was similar to that long, lengthy cinematic promo series we saw last week. We then go to commercial and come back. And then when we come back from commercial, we are going to go to a promo of Ric Flair. And this is how they're going to close this week's show on Saturday night. Flair and Fifi come out to talk to Mean Gene. So I guess this is a reunion as well for Flair and Mean Gene. Let's go to that promo right now, and then we will wrap it up and give out the Rolex, Toot Toot, and all that good stuff. Here it is.
Nature Boy, first of all, I want to say a couple of things. It is great to be here at WCW and Saturday Night Main Event. And certainly, my friend, it is great to be reunited with you as one of the all-time greats in this great sport.
Well, Gene, thank you very much. You know, first of all, let me say that European relations with our country have gotten a lot better since Fifi came to the United States. And the reasons are very obvious. Would you agree?
I've forgotten all about Charles de Gaulle, Bridget Bardot, and whoever.
But what's really happening in the wrestling world right now is Wednesday night. Because, Vader, you have what is known as a void in my life. I still style and profile. I still run with the most lovely of them all. I hang out with Gene Okerlund. I hang out with Ted Turner. But I am without a world championship belt. And you know, and I know, that can't be for long. So Wednesday night, Vader, you have made a point of hurting a lot of great wrestlers. You're a 500-pound man, and a 500-pound man that's an athlete and a wrestler. But my friend, Wednesday night, put it on a rest, because you will have to show me and a nationwide audience that you are ready to be called the champ, that you are ready to be recognized as one of the all-time greats. And at the Bayfront Center, in front of Fifi, in front of Gene Okerlund, in front of the world, the Vader and the Nature Boy head up for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, this coming Wednesday night, the Clash of Champions live from...
I love Flair right there. I thought he was great. He said, "I'm without a world title, and you know, I know that can't be for so long. So at the Clash, you'll have to show me and the nation at the Clash that you are worthy to be the champ." And he put over how great Vader was. I always like when they do that. You put over how great your opponent is, but you also kind of run him down.
But
even
here's
though
why
Flair didn't run him down. What'd you say?
But here's why I'm better.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what killed me during this? Well, go ahead. What were your thoughts on Flair? And then I got to say something about Mean Gene here.
Let's send Rick out to talk them into their TV chairs for this week. And he does.
Yeah. And I think it worked, to be honest with you.
Sure.
When you listen to Mean Gene during this episode, it made me realize how much closer we are to the Monday Night Wars than we are to the Crockett heyday. And that's a weird thing.
Kill me.
When you think about, like,
Jimmy, don't buy that second plane. Don't buy the second fucking airplane.
What was the sale? 88? Like, think about it. We are so many years removed from that at this point. Then we're closer to the Monday Night Wars right now than we are to the Crockett heyday. It's a weird feeling when you think about that and you're like, wait, yeah.
You want me to give you a Harper? God damn.
Yeah, that would be Harper. But yeah, that's where we are right now with this stuff, man. It's crazy. It's very crazy to think about it. But anyway. All right, Doc, any other thoughts on Flair's closing promo as we head towards Clash 25, where you can only listen to us review it at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. The link is in the show description. Not only will you get this Clash, but you will get all of the Clashes we've done before it, which there are 24 as well. So this will be our 25th one, along with all of our pay-per-views. Over 400 shows are available on Patreon, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. We've done a couple of Dark Side of the Rings this year as well. So, Doc, time to rate it. Hand out the Toot Toot and Rolex. What you got, man? Harper's not here, so you got to go first.
Oh, man. This episode with the commercials in the cut seemed too long. I got tired. I got a little fussy.
Okay.
But it had some good stuff in it. I'm going to say A-.
I'm going to agree with you on A-. I think it was a long episode. If Harper was here, he would have definitely gave it a C because it was 2 hours.
Yeah. He would have looked at his Chromebook and said C.
C for fuck. Oh, my God. Anyway, okay. So
you got to go first on the Rolex.
Harlem Heat. Dude, they wrestled Arn and Paul Roma in a legitimate match that was like damn near 13, 14 minutes long. They had a competitive match against two veterans and they won. What are you acting like I'm giving it to something unrealistic? Why?
All right, everybody.
Even though I considered Austin and Colonel Parker heavily.
Okay.
Does that make you feel in the least bit better?
I'll stand up for the integrity of this whole process.
And Dusty could have got it too, but
Dusty
Harlem Heat's my boy, so they're getting it.
Right. Nepotism, racism, stupidism. I'm going to go with Dusty.
If Harper can have his tariffs on this show, I can get my diversity. I'm tired of repeating myself.
He doesn't want tariffs.
He does want them because he keeps saying diversity.
I can't explain this enough. You are a white man. Aren't you?
You always fool people, man. They don't know what to believe because you and Harper have been so stupid over the years.
Well, we're consistently stupid. That's what
right.
Makes
y'all bounce back and forth. One week you accuse me of being non-white. The next week you accuse me of being white. It's very confusing to you, to the people, for 10 years now.
Yeah.
Next week you're gonna say, you'll literally make the statement, "You're black. What would you choose?" You've literally said that on this show before and don't even remember. Harlem Heat gets the Rolex, not because of diversity, because they're the best tag team. All right. So who are you giving yours to? Did you even say?
Yeah, I did. You weren't listening as usual. I said Dusty.
Okay. Well, Dusty's deserved. He gets Rolex B for me. How's that sound?
He gets the white man's Rolex? Is that what you're saying?
He gets the white man's Rolex this week.
Come on.
Grow up.
He gets his own separate water fountain. Is that what you're saying?
I did not say that. That is not a funny joke. I am offended that you would say such a thing.
Oh.
If you knew the hate mail I get from this shit that's said on this show. People get worked to a shoot, and I'm like, does anybody have a sense of humor anymore?
No, and I guarantee you, and this is a verifiable fact. Man, look, people, the wrestlers are listening to it in the locker room and laughing. We know this for a fact. So if they like it, we like it. Relax.
All right. On that note, the next time, if you're a patron, you will hear from us tomorrow night if you listen to it when it drops. As we review Clash 25, we got to remind Harper to watch it because he usually does watch the pay-per-views and clashes. That is Clash 25, only available at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. And if you're only listening to the video version of this or watching the video version of this, make sure you go back and listen to the beginning of the free portion of this episode as the audio-only version. That has the big announcement that we made. We're not going to rehash it here. You can just look at the timestamp and you can get to it. But you're going to become a patron to get the Clash, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Be like Jaworski, sign up, be a patron for many years. No need to crank. You can just watch it and listen to it with us. And that's that. On that note, Doc, we will celebrate on the next free show our 10-year anniversary, providing Harper doesn't no-show us. You got any thoughts before we get out of here this week?
Not one single thought.
All right, then. On that note, why don't you hit the tagline and we will roll.
Book it, bitch.
This is A.I. Eric Bischoff. No, I am not the real Bischoff. So don't work yourself into a shoot like these useful idiots in the wrestling media field. With that said, congratulations on making it to the end of this week's show. Don't forget to send your comments about what the guys discussed tonight to Luke Hawks on Facebook and on Twitter or X or whatever the piss they call it now. The rumor is Luke likes answering BTT fan mail. Also do the guys a solid by liking the show's Facebook, X, and Instagram pages. And don't forget to like and retweet or repost the show on all social media platforms. Lastly, become a BTT patron member where you get tons of extra shows. You can join at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Until next week, piss off dipshits. How the piss do you people listen to these useful idiots? These dipshits think they're fucking funny, but they ain't fucking funny. And somebody needs to tell them that. This goddamn show needs more D-Man and less of dipshit, Doc, hard-boiled Harper, and this Vanilla Ice Snoop Dogg, mumble, mouth, Mills. You have to be an imbecile to find these three fuckers entertaining. Fucking clown show.